We've been stitching with our automatic buttonhole foot, our manual buttonhole foot, and creating buttonholes like they are super simple because this machine, you push the button, you can set the length and stitch 100 of them and they'll be all the same. But once you have buttonholes done, usually you want to sew a button in place. So stitch number 13 in the buttonhole area is just that. Now you'll notice that there's no foot showing, so take your foot off. Make sure the dual feed is disengaged or the IDT is disengaged. The reason I have you so zoomed out is because we need to lower the feed dogs, and that is done right here. There's a little lever, so we're going to take those teeth and sink them down, and then that way they're not touching the bottom of the button when we're stitching it in place. So you'll notice that the little green plus on screen shows that that needle is going to start on the left side. So I'm going to put my button underneath the needle, and I'm going to have the needle come down, and I'm going to actually hand turn this so the needle comes down into the left hole. Kind of move the button so it's nice and level to the needle swing. Lower the presser foot next, and then that's going to hold the button in place. Now, I usually take one full swing by hand before I go stitching this down, just to make sure the needle will go into both holes correctly. Now, the default stitch width is 4 millimeters wide, which I will tell you will be about this correct for about 99% of the buttons that you'll be stitching on. Might need a little wider for some, might be a little narrow for others. The other thing that shows on screen is what's called, it says ×8. So it's going to go back and forth 8 times. If you want that to be more or less, you could adjust that. So here's our first swing. We're going to make sure, oh, one more stitch does a locking stitch. There we go. I can see that it goes into the other hole here. Step on the foot control or push the start-stop button, and this will go ahead and stitch this in place. You can use the thread snips, so if you want to go ahead and do that, it will pick a hole to go down, yay. Now with this particular button, we stitch this completely to the fabric, meaning there's not any room, it's more decorative right now than buttonable. So if you wanted to have a distance or a shank of thread that you would then allow another item to button to this, use the multi-purpose tool to give you that distance. You'll slide it underneath just like this, set it up as we just walked through, and now you'll have a little extra shank of thread for that second piece of fabric to slip underneath the button.